No pit stops, no strategy, it's all about the pace today. Qualifying day here at the Hungaroring for the Hungarian Grand Prix.
Hello and welcome to the stream. We're at Hungary today, after yesterday's absolutely mad British Grand Prix. So, a bit of a mix-up in this weekend, Hungarian, as there's meant to be rain right at the end of the race. If you remember back to Silverstone, if you were there, there was a chance of rain towards the end of the race, but it never came down. But this time there's actually an icon of rain at the end of the race, so we could actually receive the rain this time. We're in qualifying, of course, skipping to the end as we usually do, so that we can get the best lap time, the last of the track. But yeah, this is our first time doing Hungary. So I don't know what to expect, but hopefully we can get a good lap in. Just wait for everyone to go out on the track. Pretty sure we should be alright to go out now. Yeah, there's only a McLaren who's not coming out, and that's Lando, because he's just done a lap time anyway. But for saying that, Verstappen, who also has just done a lap time before this final run, he's gone out again. So
and we've been pushed down to P20.
He's using another set of tyres then maybe, and the McLaren actually has came out of Norris, so I'm not sure if he'll get a lap in if he moves, especially if he's moving out the way for drivers, which he's had to do already. It's going to be a close one for Norris, but they're using so many softs here. Like, they've gone out for 3 runs now, this is. So unless they're using scrub set, then they're really wasting their tyres, is Red Bull and McLaren. Could affect them later on in qualifying. Yeah, just getting a feel for the track on the outlap, as we've not done this track on this game. And preparing for our first flying lap of the weekend.
Drop to P20.
And across the line, and that is P1. A good lap. It felt a bit on the edge throughout Sector 2 though. Like we was going to lose the car at any given second, but we are only mildly in first place in this first in this few qualifying sessions, sorry. Yeah, Hamilton and Alonso, they seem to be the quickest of drivers this weekend as well. Of course, both having very good experiences at the Hungaroring. So the knockouts are Hulkenberg, Sargent up in P17. A lot of teams have made upgrades, quite big ones actually, that have put them quite far up. So Sargent getting closer to that, being into Q2. Then it's Magnussen, Stroll and Zhou rounding off the grid. So yeah, let's go into Q2, see what can happen, and see if the tyres will affect Verstappen and Norris going out for that extra run. But we're expecting rain apparently. It never said anything on the weather forecast when I had the email through from Mark. But apparently we're expecting rain, and it could be here by Q3. So that'll mix up the order a little bit. Let's carry on to the end of Q2 though. So Leclerc actually being the fastest now. Hamilton and Alonso not really anywhere to be found, but apparently it's raining. Definitely isn't. So in the knockout zone so far we've got Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Albon and Ocon. Piastri and Gasly quite close to that knockout. Everyone else quite close to one another, so we'll wait for the others to go out. think that we should be safe.
Okay, that's all the
to
checks
go out.
complete. We're ready to go.
Yeah, no one else is coming out on track, which is... It could be suicidal in a way. It's the top three actually. Leclerc, Norris and Russell. But with how close the standings are on times, you know, that could easily be from top three to bottom three. Like, I doubt that Albon will probably go as quick as them, or Ocon. But, you know, you've got the whole of the top 10 probably, who could go quicker and knock them all the way down. And of course, we haven't set a lap as well. Here we go for our flying lap of Q2. There you go, look how many drivers are going faster.
Right, that's us pushed down into P15.
Been a bit of a scruffy lap once more. Well, a bit more scruffier than our Q1 lap. So let's hope that this is enough to get us through. And it is, it's first place, so as I said, very, very close. But the shocks, because of their performance so far this season, especially from Sainz, both RBs are out in Q2, along with the two Alpines as well. It's a close one, it's very close. But those are the surprise knockouts, I'd say, of Q2. It was... Everyone has been separated by just over 5.5 tenths. So that's how close it is. Tsunoda finally gets himself through into a Q3 this season. I'm not sure if he's been in there in a Q3 before, but yeah, that's such a surprise to at least see not one RB through into Q3 because they've been so quick this season. But I guess the track doesn't suit them as much as what the other tracks do. So apparently we were expecting rain in Q3, but look at that blue sky. I don't think that there's rain inbound anywhere, to be fair. Let's fast forward a little bit. But once that chance of rain increases a lot more, we'll go out on track. But it's looking like a cooler track now, cooler air temp too. Bit overcasty now.
Right, the car's ready. Let's get it out there.
So this might suit other teams more with the conditions of the track. Of course, we started Q1 with 41 degrees track and like a 27, 29 air temperature, I think it was. So yeah, the difference in the temperature could definitely affect who's on pole. Mercedes springs to mind instantly, as they prefer a cooler track than a really hot one. But it's still like, doesn't look like it's gonna rain even by the end of Q3. So here we go, our final qualifying lap. Let's make it a good one. See if we can stick it on pole. We've been in first in Q1 and in Q2, so let's try and keep that consistency throughout this whole qualifying. George Russell is currently on provisional pole. Can we do anything to stop that? We'll see as we round the final corner now. It's been an alright lap, to be fair. Only a couple of mistakes across the line, and it is P1.
You've got pole position.
With qualifying complete, all that remains now is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix tomorrow, so make sure you join us then.
So would you look at that? Myself and Russell, the only ones in the 113.5s, only just getting pole as well, but compared to the rest of the grid, and how it was looking to be and how close it was, it's not as close as what I thought it was going to be. But look at that, they're both Red Bulls in 8th and 9th been out-qualified by Leclerc, by Piastri, who hasn't managed to get into Q3 on the last few occasions. There's only Tsunoda behind them that hasn't managed to do anything, but that's his first Q3 appearance in a while for Ferrari. But what a qualifying. It's a front row again for us, pole position this time on merit, and we've got our teammate right behind us as well, so maybe we can convert this into a 1-2 in the race, but we'll see. There's meant to be rain at the end of the race, so we'll see what we can do and whether that affects us too much or affects anyone. So let's just double check that forecast. It's a 60% chance. And we start off fully dry, and then it just like casually goes to the rain. Yeah, let's look at the R&Ds as well, because obviously we looked at that at the start of the session when no one was in the stream. So a lot of improvement from ourselves, a lot of improvement from Red Bull, Mercedes, McLaren, Ferrari have even made a step towards VCARB. Williams as well, they've made a big gain, and Sauber, they're now ahead of Alpine, and Haas are almost ahead of Alpine as well. So the grid is getting closer for definite, and I can't wait until it is close. But can we keep that podium streak going? Of course, in China we had a DNF, so we couldn't keep it going, but well, we couldn't even get a podium in the first round, but yeah, this will be our 5th one if we can keep it going. Can we make it 2 wins in a row and 5 podiums in a row? We will see as we head down to the race.
It's race day in Budapest as we get ready for another round of Formula One action. We're not expecting too many retirements at this circuit. There are plenty of current and former drivers with flawless finish rates here. In particular, Ralf Schumacher, who made it across the line in all 10 of his Hungarian Grand Prix starts. 14 corners then for our drivers to navigate at the 2.7-mile Hungaro ring today. It's 6 lefts and 8 rights around a lap here, with average speeds in the region of 120 miles per hour. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Edwards lines up on pole position, and starting next to them is George Russell. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Fernando Alonso, Leclerc, Hamilton, Norris, Oscar Piastri, Verstappen, Perez, Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Gasly, Sainz, Ocon, Albon, Hulkenberg, Sargent, Magnussen, Stroll, and Zhou Guanyu. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? And joining me in the commentary box once again, Naomi Schiff. Hi, Gnomes. Look, we know it's not where you start, it's where you finish. But let's talk about the start now. What's there to help the drivers get away well?
Well, the race is certainly not won in the first lap, let alone turn 1. However, what you can do is prepare yourself ahead of time. Visualize what could potentially happen, different scenarios and where you could place your car, and that will better prepare you to make the right decision with instinctive timing.
Right, mate, I know it's hot in that cockpit, believe me, but your tyres are even hotter than that. You've got to work really hard today to keep them cool, otherwise we're going to suffer with our performance.
So that's a radio message I've never heard before. I don't know whether to go to the hard tyres to start with. That could we could probably stretch those out to the rain if it's enough. If not, then we're gonna have to go onto the soft tyres towards the end. We have got a spare set after all, so we're gonna do that. We're gonna change our strategy, make a bold call. Also, I might point out there's no grid penalties for anyone this race, so it's completely as it was in qualifying. So yeah, as he said, it's a hot race to start with. It's going to get cooler, but we're going to have to work hard in this early stage. it should be easier for the hard tyres, let's be honest. And yeah, let's get into this and see if we can win this race. We're the only one on the hard tyres in the top 5 at least. 5 red lights, and it's lights out and away we go. A bit of a slow start, but what a start from our teammate Alonso. He's already well into the lead before the first corner, and Russell's even alongside us now. Alonso leads past turn 1. We're still in second, battling with Russell, trying to keep ahead of him, trying not to lose too many positions at the start and maybe defend Alonso's lead. But still side by side with Russell through turn 3 we go. Up to turn 4 now. It's a race towards the corner. Who can get to the apex first? It's ourselves, and we keep P2. Alonso leads through sector 1 and into sector 2 over ourselves, and then Russell. So a great start. I've never seen an AI get away like that, but yeah, the difference in compound is definitely showing right away from that start, and now throughout the lap, as Alonso's got a 1.4 second lead over ourselves. So not the best start, not the worst start as well. We could have lost more positions, but we didn't. So it's a 1-2 for the team, and that's the main thing at the moment. As we round the final corner for the first time in this race and cross the line. DRS now enabled. Russell's going for the move once more down the inside of turn 1. He goes for a kind of false move. We saw a lot of those last race in Silverstone, especially from Russell actually, towards the latter stages of the race. But we keep ahead of Russell and this train of cars.
You might experience some understeer now that you're in the wake of the car ahead. Try to get past as soon as possible.
But Alonso really flying here at Hungary. 2.1 seconds over us. I know that there's a difference in compound, but he's just absolutely getting away with this. See if we can do anything on the strategy to stop him. Of course, he is our main rival, being our teammate. And I said it at the start of the season and many times throughout these live streams, it's definitely going to be a battle between myself and Alonso. It's just a point of where it gets intense, to be fair, as he sets the fastest lap to be expected, a second quicker than ourselves. Here comes Russell with the DRS then to the inside of turn 1. We brake later though, go around the outside, which will give us the better exit off the corner, but he's got the second dose of DRS, but our exit was just so good that he's not able to come back at us and get that move done and completed. So we keep P2 for another lap. We're defending Alonso's lead and our P2 like a dream, like he would have done for Ocon in 2021, if you remember back to that. So yeah, it's a long race, of course, 35 laps, but sooner or later these hard tyres will start coming to us and the mediums will start to fall off, just like we saw in real life a couple of days ago. Of course, it's not really a track for overtaking as well, so we'll see if we can have an exciting race still. It's been exciting so far in these first 3 laps, and I'm sure that it will continue to be, as Russell once again goes to the inside with the DRS, gets that inside line, hugs it tight as we go around the outside once more, try and get the better exit. Doesn't work that time for us. He's got the DRS to defend. We send it down the inside of turn 2 and keep ahead. Now that's put him under pressure by Leclerc. Leclerc looking to hang it round the outside. It's a close one there, but Leclerc stays in P4, sorry, and Russell stays in P3. We stay in P2, and Alonso has a 3.6 second lead, and I'm pretty sure that this will be his first win since Japan last season, which was the second round
time to utilise some of this energy. Come on.
Yeah, the second round of last season's calendar, sorry, in this career mode. But we've got this whole train of cars. We saw it in Silverstone as well. There was every single car in a train, and the whole finishing order finished under 15 seconds of one another. So yeah, it could be the same case here in Hungary as well, especially with the difference of strategy. Russell is a bit later for the move this time, but goes to the inside once more. He's not really left with any other choice. We get the better exit though, and he's back in the DRS and slipstream. Can't send one to the inside of turn 2 as we turn in a bit early there. Clip the curve a little bit, but it defended our position, so yeah. Whoa, we nearly lose the back end there. Alonso's lead has sort of halted, so maybe he's doing a bit of tyre saving now after ragging the life out of him for the past few laps. I say it's halted, but now look at it, it's 4.1, so it's gone up by another 0.3 now. But I finally feel grip on these tyres, even though we had that oversteer moment through turn 4. I do finally feel the grip in these tyres. Maybe the mediums for the other guys are starting to overheat, or they're having to go into management mode to save those tyres and nurse them to the pit window. Here we go, down the first DRS straight. Once more we're using our overtake button. It's the only place on the track where we're using it. Russell goes to the inside for probably the 5th time in this race. We get the better exit once more. Do I need to say more? Carbon copy of the last few laps, and we keep P2.
Okay, mate, we've got high reserves of ERS, so let's try and use some more.
So he wants us to drain our ERS completely. So that's great. What am I going to use to defend then? So we'll have to do it anyway. It could up our stats a little bit. We'll try our best with the amount of corners though to drain it down to that much. Like, I don't want to have too much power coming out of the corners, otherwise I'm going to spin. So
Yes, mate,
there we
hit
go.
the target. Nice work.
And we'll save through this last sector, see how much we can get it up to, but we do need it to hurry up and save because this DRS straight is coming up, and this could be the loss of P2, especially after draining our ERS like that. So here we go, down the straight. We've got less ERS than usual to play with, and it's already down to 10%, using that overtake mode to defend. Going around the outside once more, try and get the better exit. We're running out of ERS. Russell is ahead, and he defends the position too. We have lost P2 now because of an objective. Yeah, we didn't need to complete it straight away, but it was the only smart thing to do to get it out of the way. But we've got to try and stay with Russell now. We can't let him get away. We've got to do this for our team. We've got to do this for Alonso as well, and for our race on strategy, because if we're ahead and we're the only ones on the hard tyres, that's a pretty good strategy, to be fair, I must say, as we've got the track position. Can we get Russell back down the DRS straight like he's been doing to us plenty of times? And which way will he defend? To the inside, or will he have learnt from us and defend to the outside, keep the race in line? We'll see. Can we even gain enough by the end of the straight? Yes, we do. He doesn't learn from us. We go to the outside, a bit on the grass there into the braking zone, which doesn't help us slow the car down whatsoever. We've got the second dose of DRS. We're alongside now. It's a drag race down to turn 2. We've got that inside line. We're ahead at the apex. We push him out wide, and we get back up into our P2. And what an overtake that was. I wasn't expecting to, especially after getting on that grass into turn 1. It wasn't ideal for us, for our tyres, but we've got the move done, and that is the main thing. We've got to save our ERS now though, as we're too low since completing that objective. We can't afford to lose this P2 again, as there's a yellow flag behind. Not sure who that's for or what that's for, whether it's a spin, a retirement, and it's Sargent. Sargent is out of the session. It might be a mechanical failure. We will have a look. But after getting probably his best qualifying of the season, I must say, he's going to be out of the Hungarian Grand Prix. He's quite far back, actually, and it's engine failure, completely up in smokes. We'll see if that gives us a safety car or a VSC at least. I don't think it will, though. It would have been called out by now, as we keep the position ahead of Russell, trying to go for the move as we save our ERS. But I've only just noticed, actually, a Red Bull has dropped quite far back. He's behind an RB and the Alpine. If you remember, RB and Alpine started outside the top 10 as Russell goes to the inside once more. Leclerc, he's getting close behind us as well. He could be in the mix soon for this P2 as we drag race towards turn 2 now, but nothing done from Russell. Yeah, I don't know who that Red Bull is, because he's behind both RBs and an Alpine, so he must have had a very bad start, whoever it is, whether it's Perez or Verstappen. We'll have a look now, actually, and it is actually Perez. He's dropped down to 13th there. Verstappen dropped down to 9th. Tsunoda got a rapid start from P10 up to 8th. So yeah, Perez must have had a very bad start to drop down to P13 from P9, but we are the only ones on the hard tyres. Everyone else started on the mediums, so see if this strategy, completely alternative strategy for us, works out. I wonder if the rain is in the air yet. It certainly doesn't look like it's inbound. Weather report.
No threat of rain for the time being. Conditions look good. Okay, dries seem like the best tyre for now.
Okay, so no rain at all yet. We are only 9 laps into this race, nearly 10. So it's meant to be the last icon of the weather, of the radar. And here we go, Russell once more. How many times am I going to have to say this? He goes to the inside. He doesn't learn that the outside line is the better line, and then the inside for turn 3. But he's actually managed to keep up with us this time, going round the outside of turn 2, sorry, and then into turn 3 up the inside. But once again, just like lap 2 or lap 3, whenever it was, we keep ahead. The outside line for certain corners definitely seeming to work better than that inside line, as it gives us a better exit, not such a tighter corner, not as much steering lock as well, which the more steering lock you put in, the more it scrubs off speed, basically, if you're new to Formula 1. Yeah, that going back to that radio message at the start of the race with Mark saying, I know you're hot in the cockpit, but your tyres are going to be even hotter. So that's how hot this might be. I didn't exactly look at the temperature, as Russell now is looking to go down the inside of turn 2. He must have learnt from what I said from last time around, sorry, I'll get my words out sooner or later. But yeah, I didn't exactly see the temperature. I might have to look back on stream, see if it did say the track and air temp for this race. Of course, there's no clouds around, it's just completely sunny, so it must be very, very hot, and that's affecting our tyres a lot. They're just on the borderline of getting to yellow. for the tyre temperatures. But Alonso out in front, a pretty chill race for him at the moment as we slide our way through 13. He's 6.5 ahead.
Battery charge is high. Let's use that overtake button a bit more.
As Russell, he's going to go to the outside this time. So we've not been put in this situation before with the inside line. So what can we do with it? We still get a better exit, but he's got that inside line for turn 2. We squeeze him to the inside and he backs out of that one straight away, and we keep our P2. So once more Russell attempts to get a move done, but he can't. I must say it's definitely a difference to Silverstone last time out in terms of the battling. You know, we had multiple cars involved for the British win even, and you just never knew who was going to win. But I think it's pretty obvious. We're not even half distance in, and it's fair to say that unless Alonso gets a problem with his car, he's certainly on course for a victory at the Hungarian Grand Prix. So we'll see. As I said, not even half distance yet as Russell goes to the inside. He didn't like that outside line the last time, but we certainly do. We get the power down, overtake mode, and keep our P2. An absolute defensive masterclass from ourselves to help Alonso get that gap, but he also put the work in as well. Those first few laps he was flying along, so yeah, just shows how much the team can help each other, to be fair, if you both work together. So this could be our first 1-2 of the season as well. We're round 7. So nearly half distance in this career mode. But the medium runners pit lap should be coming up soon. In fact, next lap now, they should be pitting the first. Well, we'll see the first of the stops. We've actually gained away from Russell through that final corner, so it just shows that the medium tyres are starting to go off a little bit. We've caught that gap to Alonso as well by a couple of tenths. So is this where the prime of the hard tyres starts to come through, starts to actually work for us? Of course, well, it's a personal best sector 1, that's for sure, because we haven't had to battle Russell. That is probably why it's a personal best. But
on Stroll. Right, they've got a serious car issue. It looks like they're retiring.
So Stroll is now out for the second race in a row. He's had a engine failure in Silverstone. Let's see what's happened with him. And it's a technical failure. There's no smoke coming out the back, so that is a technical failure. Very odd, but yeah, last time out at Silverstone he retired from a mechanical failure as there was smoke coming out the back of his car. But that is our second retirement in this race. Stroll and Sargent are both out with problems with their car, but one's mechanical and one is technical. So usually you only get 2 retirements in a 50% race in terms of like reliability, so it still could surprise us. This game is so inconsistent that we don't even know what is going to happen next. You know, there could definitely be another retirement, but also there could be crashes as well. Being such a twisty, turny corner track.
Tyres are running hot. Please keep the temps down if you can. Okay, clear.
Okay. as I was saying, being such a twisty circuit, there's definitely room for error for the drivers. Leclerc has started to drop back there.
Maybe didn't quite get what we needed there, but let's not worry about it. Get your head down now, chin up, and let's focus right until the checkered flag.
Right, so we didn't complete our objective because I'm pretty sure that that was impossible. Our tyre pressures are all the way down on our setup. So if we can't keep the tyre temps below 111, then we're definitely cooked. As does Alonso pull into the pits? Yes, he does. First pit stop is Alonso, and then the rest. Russell stays out though. This could definitely mess his race over. We saw in real life that undercut is so powerful here at the Hungaroring. So could Russell be losing his P2 here, and could we be battling with someone else for second place? But we've got nice clean air ahead of us now. Absolutely no dirty air ahead of us whatsoever, because Alonso's pitting. So we've got to make the most of that now. We've got to push on to lap 20 when we decide to come into the pits. But the clouds starting to form. They're only white clouds, so it doesn't mean that there's any rain coming, but this is the point in the forecast now where it starts to get a bit overcast. And yeah, if you go back to the start of the race, at least you'll see that 3 icons of fully dry, then it's 2 icons of sun and cloud, and then it's I think it's 1 icon of overcast and then another icon of light rain. So Russell peels into the pit lane. We've now got no threat from behind. We've got to push on, try and make the most of this, and we'll ask Mark for the weather report. Weather report.
Repeat that, I've got some interference here.
Oh, I doubt it. Weather report.
So we're expecting rain in about 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay then.
Seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
So that changes things up. We're in halfway distance now. And rain in about 10 to 15 minutes. Can we keep these hards on and switch straight to the intermediates? Because if it's in about 10 to 15 minutes time, the track has so much time to actually get more soaked. So yeah, let's hold on here. I've just realised Gasly is up in P3 due to the undercut. Verstappen is in P5. Wow.
Okay, be careful. We think you're going to start losing some tyre grip any time now.
So this race completely turned on its head then.
Window and you're going to be on mediums.
In terms of the podium positions, Russell is out of the podium positions so far. Gasly has moved himself up into P3.
13.7 seconds.
As Alonso, our teammate, is pushing once more exactly like he was in the first laps of this race. He set the fastest lap before Verstappen did, so it just shows how much he's pushing. We get a massive oversteer moment in turn 4 there. We're lucky to keep that out of any sort of barrier and keep it pointing in a straight line somewhat. So we've just got to do the best we can on this stint, and then we'll be on the faster tyre, or we'll be on the intermediates, depends. So we might have to let Alonso catch up to us before we go on to the inters, because I reckon it will get wet enough. But if it doesn't, then we've screwed our race over basically completely, and we screwed a chance of a 1-2. So there's a lot to play for here, a lot to lose, but also a lot to gain as well. This could be the difference between a second place and a first place, but it could also be the difference between a first place and a complete last finish. So yeah, I'm kind of scared about this one, but just gotta keep our head cool, do the best that we can, and hope that that rain comes down hard enough. Piastri now sets the fastest lap of the race so far, takes it off Max Verstappen, as Verstappen actually gets past Russell here. So despite the 1 lap fresher tyres from Russell, he's lost a position now to Max Verstappen through the DRS, but Verstappen was obviously close enough to do that, to get the move done.
We've got a lot of spare energy, okay to use your overtake button.
So I reckon we're going to go into hot lap mode. If you were here for Silverstone, you would know why. It creates a massive gap behind if you don't make any mistakes. If you're in hot lap mode,
Push now, we're boxing this lap.
so he wants us to box this lap. We've got 16 laps left in this race. Let's check the weather before we do decide what we're going to do. Weather report.
Okay, the static over the radio, say it again.
Every time that I'm there on track, every time. Weather report.
Okay, expect to see some rain about 10 to 15 minutes from now.
So if it's
Dry
10,
seem like the best tyre for now.
if it's 10 to 15, if you take the 15 minutes, which is the maximum, that will be at the end of the race. That will be the last lap. So there'll be no point in us staying out. If you take the 10, meanwhile, that will be about 6 laps before the end. So that will give the track plenty of time to soaken up.
Okay, pit in this lap and remember the speed limit. We'll be penalised if we exceed it. Keep that in mind as you approach.
And we are going to pit in though. It's not worth taking that risk, being so close to the end where the rain comes, but we're also struggling on this tyre, we really are. So I don't think that we can stay out on this any longer. We're into the pits and we've got some work to do to try and get ourselves back up into these positions that we're in. It's going to be hard work, but we've got to push the maximum out of these tyres to get it done.
Looks like a nice stop time. We're happy with that one.
As we're down into P9. Can we stay ahead of Tsunoda though? It's going to be close. As we go into turn 1 now, we're ahead of Tsunoda, but we've got cooler tyres of course. So it'll take a while for these to heat up. We are on the better rubber than everyone else, so it's time to push. Time to push to the maximum, because if that rain does come, then...
Just so you know, we're getting some strange readings from a couple of the sensors. I don't think you need to be worried, just some bad data. So keep doing what you're doing. I'll let you know if we notice any genuine problems.
So we had that radio call in Silverstone. I still don't know what it's trying to imply. It's very weird, that radio call. But as I was saying, if that rain does come down, we've got to be in the best position possible, but also not close.
We might see some rain. ETA about 15 minutes.
We're not too close to Alonso, because that double stack could really mess us over. Like it would if the McLarens or the Mercedes box. But we're really pushing. This is the fastest that we've been in this race,
Okay, here's
I
the
feel.
gap that we're trailing the car ahead by 2.0 seconds.
Of course, these lot in the DRS of one another. We don't want to get stuck in a DRS train, so we're going to have to use our grip and our traction to try and get past these guys, get better exits than them off the corners. Whoa, as we have a massive moment there. Puts us off the track just like Tsunoda in real life. And luckily didn't come to the conclusion that Tsunoda's crash did in the Hungarian qualifying. But we're already nearly on the back of them. Once we're in that DRS, that will help us for definite. Gasly's doing really well to defend that second place of his. Oh, he's come in. Gasly is into the pits. Not sure what's happened there. He's on the hard tyres.
Control than ever over your ERS mode, so play around with them in your MFD.
So did Gasly pit or did he not? Let's just check that. And he's gone medium hard. Has he had an incident with someone, lost a bit of front wing, or maybe even a puncture? We're yet to find out.
The car behind started to drop back. There's a gap beginning to form. Let's make the most of it.
We'll see now. So no repairs. He's just decided to come in for the hard tyres once more. Unless he had a slow puncture, but I don't think that there's any mechanics in this game for a slow puncture. A very weird one there. He's just thrown away P2. And he's going to have to pit again if it gets wet enough. So what are Alpine doing? I'm so glad that I didn't sign for them. Because once again they're proving they're stupid basically. So we've just got to play the patient game now to get past these lot. We've already gained one free position. We've also got the fastest lap as well. Tuck into the slipstream, get the DRS and the ERS flowing. As up ahead there's a battle for second place. That's Russell and that's Verstappen as well. We get past Hamilton though into turn 1. A very nice and clean move into turn 1 on Hamilton.
Okay, mate, Lando ahead. Right, here we go. Let's look to get past quickly and put them on the back foot.
Okay, so he says Lando ahead, but we've got to overtake Leclerc. Lando Leclerc. Let's, yeah. Very silly game. Silly. As we're getting lots of oversteer moments. Got to get past. Because these tyres are going to start wearing out, being in the dirty air. Verstappen did get that P2 by the way off Russell, but knowing how Russell was with us in the first few laps before the first pit stops, not backing down whatsoever, we can expect the same surely on Max Verstappen.
Pace is strong, but be aware these tyres need to go the distance.
As now we dive it to the inside of Lando, very close to contact, I can't lie. But we've got the move done. And that is the main thing, it was still a clean move. Weather report.
5 minutes until rainfall expected. 5 minutes until rain. Dries definitely seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
So now 5 minutes until the rain. That does put my prediction of when the rain was going to come down to about 6 laps before the end of the race. So it still could mess things around a little bit if people start going off. They are on the least grippiest tyre after all, on the hards, so could mean anything. We've got 2 laps left to get past Piastri and Leclerc. No dive this lap, as we're not close enough. But we're definitely going to be looking at every opportunity that we can. Of course, he's our points rival as well, is Leclerc. as it's started to go very overcast now. We're just anticipating that rain to start falling around lap 29. To 30, which is in a few laps time. Piastri's just doing enough though. Or is he? Yeah, he is. I'm not going for that move again. Sorry guys. Bit late on the brakes. Ooh, as we catch that inside curb. These tyres starting to fall off now. Yeah, they're starting to get very hot. That's why we're having so many moments. We've got to do this sooner rather than later. Because we're meant to overtake Leclerc before that rain comes. Weather report.
The rain's a few lap outs yet, but it is coming, so be careful. Okay,
So once
dry
again,
seem like the best tyre for now.
once again the rain is a few lap outs yet, says Mark. We're going to go into hot lap mode. We seem to be doing better in that. We've got enough ERS for it, but we're really struggling now.
Okay, we don't think we're far away from rain now. I'll keep you updated as conditions change.
Hopefully the rain will make the AI struggle a little bit more than ourselves. I don't think that we're going to get Leclerc. At least before the objective runs out. We could all have to still pit for intermediates. Just about get that DRS.
Okay, unlucky mate, that wasn't quite what we needed, but let's not worry about it. Get your head down and chin up, there's a long way to go.
Verstappen does the same defensive move into turn 1 against Russell every single lap. Just stopping Russell from getting past. Because we're ragging the life out of these tyres. Just to try and keep on the back of Piastri, keep that DRS.
Let's use overtake and burn off some of this energy.
And we've got to try and stay ahead of Lando and Hamilton, of course. Oh, and here's the rain. Rain is starting to come down now, streaming across our camera. So I'm hoping this is where the AI start to struggle a little bit more now. But actually it turns out that we're the ones that are on the back foot so far. As soon as the track has got a little bit greasy, but will we have to pit for the intermediates before the end of this race, just to try and keep it out of the barrier? Weather report.
So this rain could be with us for a while. Light rain conditions for the foreseeable future. Dries definitely seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
There's now Lando's looking for the move. Stays back though into turn 1. I think that this is our position now. P6. We tried something with the strategy, but it just didn't work. Did it really? You know, you never know unless you try. And yeah, this is the matter of a championship for us as well, so yeah, sometimes they work out, but sometimes they just don't. And today is that situation where it's just not worked out.
These conditions are making the line a bit greasy, but we're still nowhere near the changeover point. Okay, keep an eye on that gap ahead, please. 1.7 seconds.
We've just got to take it easy on the tyres now. Try and get them to the end, because they are massively worn and massively hot. And Russell's actually going for the move on Verstappen there. Down the inside this time. He's learned. He wants to do what he did with us. And they're still side by side. This could help. Russell is through though officially. Now back up into P2 on Verstappen. Russell's always had that car ahead of him that's keeping him from getting that P2, but he's finally ahead. And yeah, into P2. There's 4 different constructors though battling for second place. 5 different constructors in the top 5. So just shows how close this career mode is becoming. This is anyone's game as the upgrade to start to come flowing in to every team. Weather report.
Okay, so this light rain is going to be with us for a while now. Okay, dries seem like the best tyre for now.
Yeah, I don't think that we're going to have to change to the inters. I think it might be wet enough on next lap or the last lap. So it's going to be a difficult last 2 laps is what I'm saying. There's Norris going for the move. He's going to try and hang it round the outside there. Back for the inside in turn 3, a bit slippery through there. And we keep P6, which is not where we wanted to be in this race. But these things happen. As I said, sometimes they work out, sometimes they just really don't. As we go a bit wide there through this twisty section of the racetrack. Losing grip constantly. There's now spots on our halo from the rain. That means it's getting towards the wet point of the race. But I doubt that anyone's going to pit for intermediates for the final lap, so that's the risk that we take though. It is the risk that we take, especially with an approximate forecast as Verstappen and Russell still battling. No matter how wet this track is, they're still using that DRS and sending it down the inside of one another. Our only chance is if those two keep battling throughout the corners, maybe one of them gets damage, holds up the rest of the guys, and then maybe we can catch a little bit, but I doubt that will happen, sadly for us, as our tyres, it shows up on the bottom right how worn they actually are. So yeah, tiptoeing through the corners now, as we've just not got the grip to go full send anymore. Alonso has led this race from start to finish, literally start to finish, because he had such a great start, he had such a launch from P3, he'd already got into the lead fully by turn 1, and
Okay, final lap. Let's go.
he's
Final
took
lap.
us onto the final lap now, as we're going to go 3 wide into turn 1 with Norris and Hamilton. We could lose 2 positions here, but we keep it ahead of both of them. And yeah, it's still not wet enough for definite. Might be towards the end of this lap. It's mad how much the weather has changed in this game. It's gone from completely clear to having rain on the last lap. Yeah, not been an ideal race for us, especially in our championship. This is crucial points that we could have missed out on. If we'd have just started on the right strategy.
7.1 seconds.
But Alonso's rounded the final corner already, and he crosses the line to win his first race since Japan last season, and to kickstart his championship campaign properly now. We've definitely got a threat, that is, but we come across the line for a miserable P6, but we've got that extra fastest lap
Okay,
point.
pick up rubber and bring it home.
What a day it's been for Fernando Alonso. It's victory, and what a victory.
What a wonderful drive to see them come from far down the grid to win the race. Those days are the ones that throw the biggest challenges at you, and to stick out and win it is an incredible job.
Aston Martin's performance today has shown that they can be competitive with the biggest names in the sport. They're making their way out to the podium as we speak, and the reaction from the crowd must be incredibly uplifting for them. Well, that was certainly an exciting weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for more exciting Formula One action very soon.
Okay then, so there's your results then. Leclerc seems to be the only one who stayed in his grid slot, in the top 10 at least. There was Hulkenberg and of course Stroll, who DNF'd. But there's a lot more field spread this weekend, that's for sure. With the corners probably separating the best aerodynamically efficient cars from the least. So yeah, quite a normal top 10 actually. There's no RB in there, there's no Alpine either. But those are your results then. We get the fastest lap by around 4/10. So let's look at the standings then. We're now 8 points in the lead of Leclerc, only 9 ahead of our teammate Alonso after his win there. Verstappen moves his way up to 4th, ahead of George Russell and Lewis Hamilton. Piastri now moves his way into 7th place, 1 point ahead of his teammate Norris, and Perez is in 9th, ahead of Carlos Sainz still. Yuki Tsunoda making a few gains as well. He's there in P12 now, finally scoring more points. Now on to the constructors. We still lead by a bigger advantage now, 43 points over Mercedes. Then it comes Red Bull, 70 points behind us. Then Ferrari, 91 points behind us in the championship. And then McLaren starting to make gains for their campaign. They're still in 5th, but only 102 points behind us in the championship. Still Sauber, Williams and Haas to score points, and Zhou, Albon, Stroll, Magnussen, Sargent and Hulkenberg are those drivers yet to score as well. So let's do all the admin then, and I will end the stream after that as we enter the mid-season point as well. As we have a secret meeting, so we'll do that before we do end. Of course it's with Ferrari, we have been having talks with them. So let's see what they'll bring to the table, quite literally. So they're matched with us on the chassis. That's the only thing. They've got an 89% success rate. We have a 92. They have 44 upgrades applied and we have 47. And of course the constructors positions and the drivers championship positions questionable. Yeah, we've got Leclerc in between myself and Alonso, but look where Tsunoda is. His best result is P7. Leclerc has won, of course, but we've had both of us who've won. We will continue talks with them. We'll see what else they bring for the next meeting.
I've been scouring the socials and asking around, and I'm delighted to say that the team are none the wiser about us chatting with anyone else. And the meeting went well too. I know. I'm amazing. You're welcome.
So we've set our goals as well for Spa. Let's go to the weekend, see what we'll have in store for our next stream, which should be tomorrow, but I can't promise anything. Ooh. So there's only one dry session actually, it's practice. So he's not gave us a weather report. I think that's because of our slander of the approximate. But actually, interestingly, into this weekend, we've got further upgrades in the R&D. Look how far ahead Mercedes have gone. McLaren have now jumped ahead of us. We're still ahead of Red Bull, luckily. Ferrari have jumped ahead of VCarb. Williams and Sauber are basically matching, and so are Haas and Alpine. Wow, it's very close. In this R&D chart, it just swaps around all season. You know, you had Red Bull at the start, and it was McLaren, and then it was ourselves, and now it's back to Mercedes and McLaren. So yeah, I actually can't wait for this race. I can't wait to see what area. Well, let's see what area they've actually upgraded in. So Red Bull is still the best. Alpine have upgraded to second place in the R&D for aerodynamics. So that's interesting. We're fourth. Mercedes are third there. We're basically on par with them. Let's see in the chassis. VCarb's still the best, but McLaren and Mercedes have caught up to them slightly there. And let's see the powertrain then, because this is a power circuit. And it's... Hold on. Haas are the quickest in a straight line by far over the Works Ferrari. So could we see Haas... Right, hear me out. Could we see Haas potentially get into the top 10 because of their power? You know, it's the next two tracks that are power dependent. You know, Monza straight after Spa. This could actually shake everything up. I can't believe that Mercedes are so far ahead, yet they're not quickest or they're not best on anything whatsoever. So I don't know. I really don't know. But our power upgrade, it should bring us ahead of Mercedes as far as it stands. And our chassis as well. Yeah, we're nearly at our target, by the way, of our rating. We're only one away. And we've got, how many races? 8 races to do that. 8 races to bring it up. And the last of those races is actually going to be Qatar, which I don't think we did last season. Oh, we did do last season. Yeah. We've got new additions on the calendar of COTA and Mexico and Portugal. So yeah, that is my sign now to leave this stream where it is. I hope you can join me for the next one. We've got an exciting session, well, quali session and race coming up. So turn on those notifications, make sure you don't miss the next stream that I do, and I'll see you in the next one hopefully. Thank you everyone for joining, and yeah.